Hey everybody, in this video we're going to go over some exercises to help improve the function of your foot and ankle. I'm sure most of us have rolled an ankle before, and I bet we could all use some work on our balance. So if you're sick of just doing some single leg balance exercises, why don't you give some of these a shot and see how they go. Alright, so first we got a pretty basic Achilles stretch here. I'm sure most of you have probably seen this before, but from that half kneeling position, you're just going to start by driving that knee straight out over your toes. You want to try and keep the knee in line with that big toe as you push it forward. You also want to make sure you keep your heel all the way on the ground, and you should feel the stretch towards the bottom of your calf. I'm going to pause it right here and mention that you guys should do all of these exercises barefoot to give yourself a little bit better awareness of your foot in contact with the ground. It will help with your proprioception and should allow you to perform the exercises a little bit better, especially for the ones later on. Some of you may want to progress this a little bit more, and for that all you have to do is add a block under the big toe. This should stretch the arch a little bit more. Next, we're going to stretch the anterior muscles of the lower leg. You're going to want to point your foot down and manually curl the toes down under your foot. You should feel this up and down the whole front of your shin here. Now we're going to work on moving the toes. Pick your toes up as far as you can, and then spread them as wide as you can. Make sure you keep the metatarsal heads on the ground the whole time. You may feel some cramping with this one. Aim for about 20 reps, but see how many you can get. Once you've got that down, advance it by pressing the big toe into the ground and picking up the other 4 toes. Then press 4 toes into the ground and pick up just your big toe. This exercise here is a series of controlled articular rotations, or CARs for short. It's all about control and precision, so don't rush it. This whole clip is about 45 seconds, and I only did 1 rotation clockwise and 1 counterclockwise, and I was going a little quick for the sake of the video. As your ankle moves through a circular motion, focus on each of the muscles required to move it into each position. If I pause it right here, we can see that the muscles at the back of my calf here in red are going to be the most active, but I'm about to start moving back into a clockwise motion, so those muscles will have to shut off as I start to turn on the muscles over on the medial side of my calf. As we move further through the range of motion here, I'm going to slow it down so I can highlight the pattern of muscle activity. Right now I can't indicate which muscles are active just because they're on the medial side of my calf, but as I rotate clockwise I can show you in red right here these muscles are active, but then a little bit later those shut off and now the muscles in blue are active, and then those shut off and now the muscles in green are becoming more active, and so on and so forth as you go through the whole range of motion. This should take a couple minutes to go through about 5 rotations both clockwise and counterclockwise. Alright, so now we're going to go into lateral flexion of the ankle with rotation of the femur. In this position, my ankle is laterally flexed to my right and my femur is externally rotated. Doing your best to keep the knee stable and not moving side to side, you're going to pull your foot to the outside now. Now my ankle is laterally flexed to my left and my hip is internally rotated. As you go through this range of motion, you want to do your best to keep the full foot flat on the ground. So that first toe should never leave the ground and that 5th toe should never leave the ground. Go through about 10 rotations in each direction on both feet. And finally, we've got calf raises with a rock back at the bottom. Perform sets of about 20 reps and see how many sets you can get through before failure. Hopefully you guys learned something new from this video. If it wasn't a new exercise, maybe it was just an area of your body that needs some improvement. Try these exercises out a couple times a week, and I'm sure you'll see an improvement in the performance of your foot and ankle.